has won this award. An emoji is an image that shares a feeling, mood, or thought.
Named Tears of Joy was the most used emoji in 2015.
Now, when you see the word, you will know what this news word means.
A hospital in Tanzania uses 3D printers to make much-needed artificial limbs and is drastically shortening a process that used to take weeks.
The World Trade Organization encourages Nigeria to review its list of things made overseas that are not allowed to be imported to the country.
And we look at the life of a 20th century woman who fought discrimination and went on to become one of America's first African-American millionaires. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello everyone, I'm Chamberlain Oso at Channels Television here in Lagos. Welcome to our show as we bring you stories from across the continent, and I'm joined by my colleague Vincent Makori in Washington.
Well, thanks, Chamberlain. I'm here at the Voice of America at Studio 51 in our global headquarters in the U.S. Capitol. Thanks for joining us for the next half hour.
The World Trade Organization is encouraging Nigeria to review the list of things that the nation allows to be imported. The WTO's head of African trade policy is emphasizing a need for greater collaboration among government agencies. Here's our report.
Nigeria became the 107th country to ratify the Trade Facilitation Agreement when the country's Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment submitted the agreement to the World Trade Organization in January 2017 in Davos, Switzerland. The ratification gave room for officials of the World Trade Organization to visit Nigeria. The organization is encouraging Nigeria to address issues that will allow for better trade facilitation, such as reviewing an import prohibition list containing 41 items, including rice, cement and toothpicks.
There is a long list of prohibitions of products that are banned, those that are banned by road, those that are banned by product, those that are banned by sector. There are prohibitions, including those on the import prohibition list. And what the Secretariat is asking in this exercise is to explain why these bans are needed. Secondly, what economic benefits do they carry?
The ratification is expected to improve ease of doing business in Nigeria and remove trade barriers. For the policy to work, the global body advocates more collaboration among government agencies.
The main trade policy objectives of all countries is to promote exports. But while promoting export, you need to have access to foreign markets. You cannot only export, you can't continue exporting while other countries do not open their market.
This agreement will help make the trade and customs procedures more transparent and help release and clear the customs goods for Nigerian traders. But also it will ease the cost of doing business.
More deliberations on facilitating better trade deals are expected to commence in the coming months with the aim of improving and indeed diversifying Nigeria's economy.
like worldwide trade, the global political landscape is rapidly changing. And with it, analysts say Africa needs strong leadership to steer it through an uncertain future. Incidentally, there are new people at the helm of affairs determined to do just that. Well, joining us for more on this via Skype is Dr. George Makundi, the CEO of the Mandelio Group in Cape Town, South Africa, who previously served as head of the African Governance Secretariat under the AU's Department of Political Affairs. Welcome to the program, Dr. Makundi.
Thank you very much for having me on your show.
The Union is proposing a lot of reforms aimed at addressing key issues on the continent. One of the top priority areas being economic integration. Now, there are certainly many barriers, but how much can be achieved if this reform is followed through?
You're aware the continent has done reasonably well on a couple of areas, mostly on political realm and also on peace and security. As you saw very recently in the Gambia, where ECOWAS and the AU and the UN did a reasonably commendable job in ensuring that the people's will was respected. But unfortunately, over the last 50 years of the existence of the international actors within the AU, or the OAU as it was called before 2002, we've not necessarily integrated economically. And one of the key challenges has been ensuring that we implement the Continental Free Trade Area, where we allow free movement of people, but also free movement of goods and services. So how do we change this? I think number one is realizing that Africans, we have a huge resource amongst our people, and number two, that we have goods that we can trade amongst each other. What perhaps we may want to do is develop our own competencies and figure out what our comparative advantages.
A major aspect of economic integration is free flow of goods and services and other factors of production. How well is the continent doing in terms of freedom of movement?
As you're aware, there are some regions that are doing much better than others. ECOWAS, I think, is the leader. If you know very well that within ECOWAS, all the members of the ECOWAS community are able to freely move across borders of each other. I think it's the same case that applies in East Africa. Within the East African community countries, with your national passport or with your national identity card, you can be able to travel across each other's countries. But it doesn't obtain within the region at the continental level. What has happened over the last couple of years is a very useful decisions by the Africans that we have to allow free movement of people. And it's at the heart of facilitating trade, because who facilitates or at least allows the movement of goods and services? It's people. So if you are saying that we want continental integration on economics, and we can allow goods and services to fly across each of our borders, we then also have to make sure that the agents or the people who facilitate that to happen is allowing people to be able to trade. In the region, at least in West Africa, we know that happens a lot.
Well, speaking about benefits to our people, the West benefits from Africa's inadequacies of processing agricultural products. How can we reverse this trend?
I think a very good question, and at the heart of this is the fact that we do not, beneficiate our own products, that we export our products still, many years since getting independence as raw materials. At the heart of this is agreeing that the way in which we harness our demographic dividend, making sure that we create employment, making sure that our countries can be able to diversify our economies, is using innovation, using technology to industrialize, in the sense that we are able to produce our products, give them much value, to be able to export them into those countries. So the Continental Free Trade Area, beyond just facilitating trades of goods and services across the continent, is also to say, how are we adding value to those particular products? So we also have to encourage our young people to invest and feel and understand that agriculture is one of the ways and means in which we can diversify and grow and develop our continent.
All right, Dr. George Makundi, head of the Mandelio Group, thank you for joining us today on the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover during the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. And check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, making artificial limbs in Tanzania with a faster process to benefit many needy people. We'll show it to you right after the break.